So here are some names that you guys should keep an eye on as we get closer to the NFL draft. And I'm not talking about your Jordan Tysons, your Carnell Tate, your Arbel Reeses. Here are some guys in the middle rounds that I think you should be really happy to hear your team calling these names. And it starts with Billy Schrauth, offensive guard, University of Notre Dame. I stumbled upon this guy while I was watching Jeremiah Love highlights, and I couldn't help but notice the miles long holes that Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price were running through right behind good old Billy fucking Schrauth. That dude is unbelievable. 6'5", 310. So he might be a little bit undersized at the NFL level when you're dealing with, 330, 325, 345-pound interior defensive lineman. That could be a problem. But you can bulk up a little bit, right? You can bulk up a little. He was a 4-star recruit, great run blocker. I would say, listen, I was reading some scouting reports after I watched a little bit of Notre Dame tape, and they said he wasn't that great in run blocking. His pad height can get a little bit high. That's not what I saw in the few games that I watched. That dude is a fucking mauler, always looking to get his hands on somebody, always looking for somebody put a beating on. And if he's not pancaking his assignment at the line of scrimmage, he's helping out his tackler center, getting to the second level, and then punishing a linebacker or a defensive back. They ran right behind this dude every single game he was healthy. That's the caveat. He hasn't exactly been the healthiest. He had an ankle injury in 2024 that cost him 4 games, and then he tore his MCL against USC when in a game where he was putting on an absolute fucking clinic. And then he was out for the final 5 games. So he only played 7 games of the season, but it was an elite 7-game sample size. Billy Schrauth, interior offensive lineman, University of Notre Dame, is a fucking steal if he can stay healthy. And I was raving about his run blocking that I saw. And then I did a little bit more research. The dude didn't allow a sack all fucking year. Are you kidding me? Didn't allow a sack all year. I think Billy Schrauth has the chance, has the potential to be the steal of the draft. And the Jets did lose John Simpson, who was their starting guard. Josh Myers is their starting center. He's iffy. They do need another interior offensive lineman. I want the Jets to stag this guy up in the second round. So bad, bro. So bad. Billy Schrauth, remember the name. The dude is an absolute fucking dog. There's a corner from Arkansas. His name is Julian Neal. 6'1", 205, really long arms. Really, really long arms. And I will say this is a very, very limited sample size. I'm talking about him versus Notre Dame wide receiver Malachi Fields. And Malachi Fields is a receiver I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. He's like a dollar store version of Keon Coleman. He doesn't get open, but he makes a lot of contested catches. And if you're watching a guy's tape and the common theme is, oh, he makes a lot of contested catches, that means he's not getting fucking open. that means he's just not getting open ever. So keep that in mind here. But Julian Neal, 6'1", 205, really, really long arms, very impressive in this matchup against Malachi Fields in press coverage. He has an arm bar in press coverage that just stuffs Malachi Fields at the line. And then in phase, he's getting his head around to the ball in man coverage, and he's making a play on the ball. Very physical around the line of scrimmage, too. Phenomenal tackler. Stronger than you would think for a guy at a 200-pound frame at the corner position, even though that's not like undersized or anything, but he doesn't look as strong as he is. He packs a punch when he gets his hands on you, and he's a really physical tackler. Very aggressive, though. Very, very aggressive, and that can bite him in the ass sometimes. He's very susceptible to a double move. In this game, he didn't get burnt really, but there was one play where he tried to undercut an out route from CJ Carr, and he completely missed it. And I think I don't know who the receiver was. It wasn't Malachi Fields, and it wasn't Faison. It was the other one for Notre Dame. I don't know his name. He beat him, and then he got upfield, and it was like a 20-yard game because Julian Neal was really, really aggressive. And he lacks a little bit in his lateral movement. Like, he was able to flip his hips, but it wasn't the most fluid flipping of your hips you would like to see from a corner. So he's more of a press man. He reminded me a little bit of Trey Amos from last year, but Trey Amos obviously was a much better player. Julian Neal in your middle rounds could be a really, really sneaky corner. Taylon Green, we're talking about Arkansas here. Taylon Green, that guy stinks. That guy stinks. 6'6", 227, and he comes out talking, and he went on a podcast or whatever interview he was on. He was like, yeah, I feel like they only stereotype quarterbacks to make position changes that are African American. And I'm like, dude, Tim Tebow played fucking tight end. What are you talking about? They want you to switch positions because you're 6'6", you ran in the 4.4s, and you can't hit the broadside of a fuck. That's not true. He can't hit the. He throws some. He has some really really elite throws. Like he does some dots, but he also has some horrible misses, and he also has some horrible interceptions. Go watch if you're so inclined. Go watch Taylon Green against fucking against Memphis. It was just a disaster. So that guy stinks. Keldrick Folk. Well, I feel bad for whatever franchise drafts him in the first round, man. That guy stinks, bro. I watched Arkansas, Ole Miss, or excuse me, Arkansas, Auburn. I don't remember a single play Keldrick Falk made in that game. And Arkansas's offensive line was awful, bro. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Keldrick Falk was a non-factor. The only possible pressure he got in that game was because Taylon Green stepped up in the pocket and gave him a chance and then gave him a chance to make a play, and he still couldn't make the play happen. Taylon Green ended up scrambling for like an 8-yard gain. Folk was consistently tackling the wrong player in the read option, but again, reading the read option with Taylon Green and Mike Washington, no easy task. And Mike Washington's the running back for Arkansas, who I have in the RB3-4 range. We'll get into that. We'll get into that more. For now, I think Love and Pierce Love and Price, excuse me, are easily RB1 and RB2 in this year's draft class. But back to Keldrick Falk, who I've been seeing mocked in the top 15. I fucking unbelievable. Like I've seen Cassius Howell for Texas A&M, who is a monster in the run game, elite pass rush moves and counter moves, really productive player for Texas A&M this year, going a whole round after Keldrick Falk, and that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I have to rewatch. I have to watch a little bit more Keldrick Falk. Again, this is a small sample size, but consistently tackling the wrong guy in read option, consistently on an isolated with Arkansas guards and tackles getting little to no fucking pressure. The bend is like not there, or maybe it just wasn't. This game was just a bad game to watch. No real presence in a bull rush. Like he is long. I think that's the main thing with him is the frame. He's 6'6", 276, but the tape isn't there. I don't know what the production is, so maybe I should do a little bit of research to see what the production is. But if he isn't putting up any type of numbers, pressure, stacks, hurries against fucking Arkansas, then I doubt he's putting up anything worth noting. What else? So who else do we want to talk about? Oh yeah, running back from Washington, Jonah Coleman, 5'8", 220, really smooth cuts, really good burst, and great visions. Defenders just fall off of him, and he was good against Ohio State. And that holds a lot of weight to me when I'm watching tape is how good were you against some of the best competition? Jonah Coleman was terrific against Ohio State. And Mel Kiper, the clown that he is, he has Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, or I think it's just Nick Singleton above this guy. Bro, Penn State couldn't run the ball worth a nickel against Ohio State. Jonah Coleman was making Ohio State defenders miss, and Ohio State might have 5-6 guys go in the first round on that defense between this year's and next. So Jonah Coleman, and really impressive a pass catcher as well. So fluid. Like Jeremiah Love, obviously, I think he might be the best player in this draft. Like watching that guy's tape is unbelievable. They had him lining up in the slot against Arkansas, running corner routes. They had Jeremiah Love in the slot running corner routes. He was getting open, like getting separation. But he's not as smooth at the catch going from receiver to runner the way Jonah Coleman is. Smooth in transition from receiver to ball carrier. Very physical at the point of a point of contact. Really hard to bring down. Plus, he can make you miss in open space. Lacks top end speed. Like he's not going to be a home run hitter, and he's not going to be a short yardage goal down back. He was not good in the red zone. But Jonah Coleman is a guy in the 4th, 5th round. If you're an RB needy team, sneaky value here. I think he's a solid player. One of the most underrated backs in this draft class. Anybody else I want to really talk about? I mean, so those are just some of the few guys I was watching today. Julian Neal, the corner from Arkansas, is a guy I'm gonna really wanna pay more attention to his tape. Is it Will Lee? Chris Lee? I think it's Will Lee. Texas A&M corner. Didn't see a whole lot from him. Not very physical at the catch point. A little bit sticky in coverage, twitchy athlete, but bad at the catch point again. Like, he would be often in good position, but Malachi Fields had a head tap on him. He just wouldn't, like, the wide receiver for LSU, or the tight end who's like 6'7", had a head tap on him. Like, he wouldn't really make big plays in phase, but he was always in phase. But, like, I don't care if you're there, make a play on the ball, and he just can't tackle. He's just getting run over. Like, Jeremiah Love and Price just ran through that dude. So yeah, that's just some quick evaluation. That's just where we're at. Those are some mid-round guys. I feel like everybody talks about, everybody highlights those front-round guys. I've done some wide receiver comps, so go on my channel if you're watching on YouTube, and you can see the wide receiver videos I did. Very bullish on Jordan Tyson. I think Carnell Tate's 2, Makai Lemons 3. Still formulating opinions on some of the other receivers in this class. Omar Cooper right now is probably wide receiver 4 in my mind, but there's so much room for growth there. But that's just where we're at considering the draft prospects. Those are some names that I really like. Billy Schrauth is the guy. That's the guy I want in the middle rounds if we're looking for interior offensive lineman. That dude is a fucking beast. Beast. I'm talking blue chip guard if he can stay on the field. If a player's biggest problem is their injury concerns, that's I don't care. And that's probably why I'll never be I don't give a flying fuck. Especially if I'm taking you in the 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd. As long as you're not a 1st round pick, I'm not expecting you to be a day 1 starter. If like Will Johnson falling out of the 1st round last year, it's fucking ridiculous. The guy played all game. Didn't the guy play every fucking game this year? but he's injured, he's bad knees. Get the fuck out of my face. And that's the thing with Caleb Downs now, who we're seeing a fall off. And I will give you guys some early round takes real quick. The more I watch Ohio State's defense, the more I like Kaden McDonald, the more I like Sonny Styles. I think Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love are the 2 best football players in this draft when you're talking can't miss prospects. I think Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles are going to be starters in this league for the next 5 to 10 years. I think they are in a tier of their own. Probably, like, if everything goes to plan and nothing really bad happens in terms of injury, off the field stuff, if they're playing football and they're healthy, gold jackets. Like, gold jackets. I would bet on those 2 guys to be in a gold jacket. And then in the slight tier below that, I think you have the 3 receivers. I think especially Jordan Tyson. I think that guy is unbelievable if he can stay on the field. I saw a CD Lamb comparison, and I don't completely disagree, although CD's better at the catch point than Tyson is, and Tyson was a little bit of a better route runner coming out of college, but CD was better after the catch at Oklahoma. Some of that dude's Oklahoma take was ridiculous. I don't hate the Jordan Tyson comp. I don't hate that comp at all. The Garrett Wilson comp. I see a lot of Garrett Wilson in Jordan Tyson, not in the athleticism at the catch point, but in the way he sets guys up in the stems of his routes and what he can do after the catch, and how quick Jordan Tyson turns from receiver to runner after he catches the football, very reminiscent of Garrett Wilson as well. So I like Jordan Tyson a fuck ton in this draft. I think he's in that tier as long as he stays healthy right after your Sonny Styles, your Jeremiah Loves. Those 2 guys I think are literal can't miss fucking prospects. That's really it as far as Ruben Bain, I love a lot too. I think Ruben Bain should be number 2 overall. I got to watch more Texas Tech, to be completely honest. David Bailey's incredible. I've watched a little bit of David Bailey. With Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle for Texas Tech, got to watch more of him. Jacob Rodriguez as well, got to watch more of him. So I still have plenty of homework to do. And those are some really early in my draft process thoughts as I'm about to just start hammering out draft content and draft. Just literally, that's all I'm about to do after March Madness for the next fucking 4 weeks. Maybe a little MLB, maybe a little NBA, but mostly draft stuff. That's where I'm at right now. There can be a lot of change here. Keldrick Falk out. David Bailey in. Arvell Reese not as in on him as Ruben Bain. I think Ruben Bain has the best tape out of Bain, Bailey, and Reese. I don't care about his arm length. Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love are the 2 best players in the draft. Caleb Downs has gotten a little bit overrated in my opinion, but the dude's probably in that tier with like he can't miss either. He can't miss either, but there is some injury concern there. Taking a safety in the top 10 either way, if there's injury concern or they're not. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. I mean, it's just not a valuable position in terms of like positional value, but neither is off-ball linebacker, neither is running back. So like you have the best players in this year's draft are just not at positions of need. So it's like it's an interesting place we're at here. But that's where we're at. That's some draft stuff right now. Those are some draft thoughts. Remember these names: Billy Schroth. You're gonna want that guy on your roster. Mike Washington, running back for Arkansas. I don't know if I talked about him actually. There, he gets the speed so fast. He gets out the top speed so fast. Really north-south. Good one-cut guy. Jadarian Price, I think, is elite, elite, elite. He should be an early day 2 guy or mid. I'd be shocked if that guy doesn't go in the first 2 days. Julian Neal, the corner out of Arkansas as well. A guy to keep an eye on. If you have a first-round pick and your team takes Keldrick Falk, you fucked up. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. Subscribe for more draft content. There will be plenty coming in the future. You're not going to want to miss it.